Okay, good morning all. My name's Dan. I'm a hosted desktop technician, and today we're going to be taking a look at our email, its features that it offers. We'll go through a couple of things. They're quite techy, but it will give you a good background on what services we offer and what we can do for your emails. So with that, we're going to log into the control panel. Now, some of you have access to this and some of you won't. If you don't have access, we can do this for you. I'm just going to walk you through a couple of this. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. If you can just pop them in the text box here for me, and we'll address the questions at the end of the session. So with that, you want to log into the control panel with your username and password. You'll be given these when you first sign up to us. Once you've logged in, it will take you to your domain, which we'll have set up for you. Here you can do a multitude of things, such as create new users, add aliases to your account, and set up distribution groups. We're going to be covering all this step by step, how they work and what they can do for you. Okay, so with that, we're going to start by creating a new email account for your domain. So we go to Manage. And then Mailboxes. It's going to bring up a list of your existing mailboxes that you have under your domain. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new mailbox today. Click on New Mailbox. It's going to ask us for a few details. It depends on the type of account you have with us as to what you choose from the first box, template. If you don't know, chances are it's just going to be a standard 25 gig mailbox. As we select this 25 gig one, you want to enter a display name. It can be anything, your full name, can be anything you like at all. This will be the name that's displayed when you email somebody. So if you email a colleague, a client, this is the name they're going to see in their Outlook. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create myself one, give it the display name of next, what we do is we select the primary email address. So this is going to be the email address you want to create. So again, we'll just call this Daniel. And then if you've got more than one domain set up here, you can have a drop-down menu and you can select from your domains you currently have set up. I'm going to come back to this in a minute just so I can explain further, and we'll go through creating a new subdomain as well. So with that, I'm just going to click tscloud.co.uk because this is the domain I want to set up the Daniel email address in. Next, what you want to do is choose a password. You want to confirm the password underneath as well. And select your language. Chances are it's going to be English. Select your time zone again. And then select an alternative account if you want to create this. This would be an alias, like another name this account could be known as. So if I wanted to, I could create one, Daniel, for perhaps a second domain I have, maybe a .com instead of a .co.uk. So if anybody emails me on either of these two addresses, it's going to come through on this single account. What we then want to do is choose the optional fields at the bottom and just enter a bit of information. I'm not going to fill in all of this, but you get the idea. Once you're done and you're happy with the settings, if you click Add Mailbox, it'll take a few seconds, but it will create a mailbox. What it does when it creates this mailbox, it's also going to email our accounts team and let them know that you've created this email account. The same can be said if you delete an email account. Again, the accounts team will get an email just saying you've created or you've deleted this account and be able to update billing. So with that, now what we're going to talk about is the email aliases. Now we've created an account, we're going to create an email alias on another account. So whilst that one's provisioning, it's going to take a while to actually create it. It takes about 5 minutes once you've actually said, okay, make that create. We're going to choose Adam for this example. So Adam, perhaps he wants to be known as another email address. have another email address added to his existing one. We're going to choose email addresses. And then we can choose another alias. You can see he's already got a few set up here. AF, Adam Frost. So if we could just create, perhaps he just wants to keep it simple, Adam. And we choose the domain it's going to be on. So we're going to choose tscloud.co.uk. So if anybody emails this email address now, it's going to go through to adam.frost@tscloud.co.uk instead. There's no charge for this. You can set up as many of these as you like. It's just an alias, but you cannot send from an alias. This literally does go from this email address into this email account. It's not separated in any way. It's as if it's been sent to the original email account. So what we're going to do is click Add. That's going to add an alias to that account. Just take a few seconds to do. There you go. You can see it's been created. Okay, we're going to move on to a couple more things. First off is setting your password. Perhaps you've forgotten your email password. You don't know what it is. Just go into the account in the list. So if we just go back, I'll go through this again. So see all your mailboxes underneath the mailbox tab. Go into the account. You want to reset the password. Choose set password. And then change the password. It'll give you a randomly generated one if you click generate random password. If we click in here, we just pop in a password. Enter it again for confirmation. If you want to send them a copy of the email of the password you've just changed, you can click this box. We're not going to do that because we're going to telephone them and let them know the new password, and then click set password, and that'll change the password. If you give it a couple of minutes and then try and log into your Outlook again, you can use that password. I'm not going to set that for Adam's account. I don't want to change his password at this time. Okay, we're going to cover something else called distribution groups now, which is a little bit like aliases, but rather than going to one person, it's going to go to a multitude of people. So here we can see we've got a couple set up already, the everyone group. So if you email everyone at TS Cloud, it's going to go to all the recipients underneath this group. So we'll do it. We're going to go through creating a new distribution group or a new group. If we give it a display name of test, email with this distribution group. So if somebody emails this email address, it's going to go to all the people underneath it. Again, this is a free service. This is just included in having an Exchange account. So we're going to call this one test at TS Cloud. Now we can choose somebody that manages it, be myself. You untick that, otherwise it won't work. Choose myself, and then select the group members. So who do we want to be in the test group? We'll choose myself. Click the arrow next to it. Choose Adam. Again, for next. You can add as many people as you like from the list. This list is all the email accounts that are currently set up. Let's add one more in there. Once you've added the email accounts you want, click Add. And that's it. It's now live. So if you email test@tscloud.co.uk, both all of myself, Adam, and Darren will get a copy of that email. Now it's already in use, the test email, so that's why it's brought up that error at the top. If we can see, yeah, so test is actually got a name of info at. So what we'll do is we'll create another one. If we do it, test one, we'll call it. Call it testing. Let's try that again. Let's just take a few seconds to create the mailbox. And there we go, the operation was successful at the top. So that's it. If you email the testing email address, it's going to go to the 3 users we selected. You can't send from a distribution group. It's literally a straightforward. So if they email testing, the 3 people in that group will get a copy of that email. Okay, so with that, what we're going to cover now is setting up a new domain. So if we go into mail domains, perhaps you've just bought a new mail domain, perhaps, for example, example.co.uk. What you would do is add that in here under the mail domains. So perhaps .co.uk, and you want to select it as a mail domain alias. This means it goes underneath your existing account. So if we do that example and we go add, this will now be another domain we can select when creating email accounts, aliases, and distribution groups as well. Okay, the operation was successful. So now if we go back to mailboxes, be able to see this in action. So there we go, my account's finally been created. If we click in here, and perhaps I want to create a new alias for the domain I've just set up. There we go, example, I can click that, and I just add a new alias to my existing account for the new domain I've just added. So now if anybody emails Daniel at example.co.uk, it's going to come through to my main account. And that's done. We're going to cover some other little bits as well. It's a bit more technical, but we're going to cover permissions. So if you want another member of staff to have access to your emails, we can grant it through the control panel as well. So if we go back to the listings, and I'm going to click on Adam. This is the person whose emails I want to see. We're going to go to permissions. And there's a couple of different permissions we want to set. You can either send on behalf of, so if you send an email from myself, for example, if I sent an email from myself on behalf of Adam, it would come up as such. So this is just the permissions I would need to set. So if I wanted to do that, if I wanted to send an email as on behalf of Adam, I would have to select him in the list and choose add. We can't do that because I'm in Adam's account, so perhaps Adam wants to send as me. We'd select Daniel and then select the arrow button and save. So then Adam now has the permissions to send as myself, or send on behalf of myself. If we go to send as, this is where he will be able to send emails as myself. So you'd be none the wiser if you received an email from myself that it actually come from Adam. So what normally happens, we do that, just add myself, click save. The two normally go hand in hand, the send as and full access. You'll see what I mean in a minute by full access. Okay, so that's been created, the operation was successful. So now Adam has the ability to send emails as myself, as if they were coming from myself. If we go to full access, here we grant access to a mailbox, a full mailbox. So it'll appear in the left-hand side of your Outlook as if it had been added to your Outlook. This is what I mean by the hand-in-hand with the send as, because you'll be wanting to send emails from this account as well. So if we add the Daniel account, and we click save, my email account and all its folders underneath is going to appear in Adam's Outlook. Adam is also going to have the permissions to send emails from my account as well, doing this. Okay. And again, the operation was successful at the top. That's it. If you were to look in Adam's Outlook, you would see my email address and all its folders underneath it would appear in the left-hand column. It can take about 5 to 10 minutes for this to take effect, for actually push through to Outlook. If after this time it doesn't come through, I suggest closing Outlook and reopening it again. Finally, what we want to cover is name changes. Changes if you've changed your name, perhaps you've got married, and you need to change your email address name to reflect this. I'm just going to cover that now. So I want to go back to mailboxes. I want to select the user. So what we'll do is we'll do it with somebody's. Let's do it with Steve. So if Steve's changed his name, what you would do is you would change the last name. For example, we'll just call this one test. You want to change the display name as well. And I'm going to click save on that. There's a couple of other bits we need to do as well. Okay, and the operation was successful. So now what we want to do is we want to go to email addresses. We need to make the change underneath the email address as well. So here you can see it's still got the old email address. So if people if they email this address, it's still coming through to this account at the moment. Now we're going to go steve.test, the new name. Make sure we pick the correct domain. scloud.co.uk. I'm going to go add. And that's created a new email account. One final thing we need to do to make sure this is set up as the main account going forward is go set as primary and user principal name. It's going to be the name that you pop into Outlook when you set up a new email account. So we need to change that. And there we go, it's successful. So if you set up a new email account for this user, you'd use the steve.test@tscloud rather than the old name of steve.blogs. And that's it. That pretty much covers our demonstration today on the Cloud Control Panel. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask and I'll try and address them for you. If you can just pop them in the text box just here. I'll go through them with you. Okay, so Michelle's asked, what are public folders? Public folders are things that accounts that everyone will have access to. These are normally set up with calendars. So if you do a public folder, you can set up a folder for everyone or a calendar for everyone to have access to. Perhaps it's like a meeting room or a holiday calendar. And what these do is they appear in Outlook as a separate mail account. The public folders aren't charged for, and like I say, they're normally set up for calendars or if you want to book like meeting rooms, things like that, things you want everybody to have access to. Hope that clears that up. Did anybody else have any other questions? Okay, well, if that's it, if you do think of any other questions, please do just give us a call. We'll be happy to help on that one. But thank you very much for joining me, and hopefully it's been informative for you. Thanks for now.